then drop them jaws. I know what you want. I ask myself, is this shit real? I contemplate about how I feel.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm so excited for this episode because this is like, oh my god, this hits home for me, and I know a lot of people are gonna like this one. I'm gonna get straight into it. So it is, when all odds are stacked up against you, what the fuck do you do? So here we go. Let's break it down. Wait. Before I do, I just want to announce the usual. I have one-on-one coaching. I've reopened for this year. So if you want mentoring with yours truly, Jesylee, then book in a call. It's 60 minutes and it's not too expensive. Anyway. Oh, and my High Vibe group, Facebook group. High Vibe Facebook group. Be sure to, join that because I go live there every week. Okay, so now we're getting into it. What to do when all the odds are stacked up against you. Okay, so often a human reaction is to go into panic mode and be like, well, this is it. And this is what's happened and I'm accepting it. Now, I don't fucking work that way. And I want you to start doing the same and feeling the same. We're not accepting this. I don't give a fuck. You've been doing that your whole life. Well, it stops right now. Because this is the problem. We dictate our emotions. We let our emotions, let me start again. We let our outside circumstances, our experiences, what's going on around us, control who we are and what the decisions that we make and how we feel. So especially, I'm going to tell you a story of when all the odds were against me and how I was able to overcome that and actually tracked what the opposite of what my life was presenting to me at the time. And to sum this all up, the main thing from this topic is you don't fucking accept it. You don't accept it. Right now, my mum is trying to sell her house, her mum's house or my nan's house. The family's trying to sell and they've had no luck and she keeps going, it's never going to sell. I said, Mum, that's what you've accepted for yourself. She's like, well, it's hard because it's 8 months and it hasn't been selling. I said, Mum, how's your mindset been the whole 8 months? Oh, it's not going to sell. That's why. It's very straightforward. What we truly, truly believe, we attract in our life who we are being and what we truly believe is who we are, essentially. So when you have a circumstance that isn't in alignment with what you want or pretty much is what you don't want, most of the time, if not every single time, this is just how we've been conditioned and programmed, we accept that as true for us. We accept it. We go, well, this is just it. That's how my boss is, blah, blah, blah. No, this has happened in my life, so now I can't do X, Y, Z. But you're just reaffirming that. You're reaccepting that. You're reliving that in your life. And the next episode I'm going to do is about men and women. It's kind of similar, actually. I'm very excited to talk about that and why you keep attracting the same men, the same women. But we need to stop accepting our circumstances and stop reacting to what's happening in our life. There are certain things that we cannot control, but we can always control how we react to that, because what we are reacting to is what we're sending out, signaling out to the universe, God, whatever you believe in, that is who I am, or that is true for me. So then the universe will be like, yep, tick, 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 okay, bye. Like, I'll give you more of that. So just don't ever accept it. Now the story, okay, me rambling for all that time, the story that happened with me when all odds were against me was when I wanted to move to Queensland. You know, I'm here now in a caravan right near the beach. That was my goal. That's what I wanted. That's what I was getting. I wasn't settling for anything less. So back in 2022, started 22, I think. Yeah. I wanted to move up to Queensland, and I actually had driven up to Queensland. Like I had this whole plan that I was going to live in a tent until I could find a place, doing my own thing with my business, blah, blah, blah. And that was what I had manifested. That was the dream. That was what I was creating for me. Now what happened was within 4 weeks, or after 4 weeks, I ran out of money. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't, living in a tent, I couldn't find a house or anything like that. Circumstances were not working for me. So I moved back to Melbourne. Let me tell you, that was so hard to do because I felt so defeated. I felt like a failure. I felt like my dream's never going to come true. And I was extremely, extremely, extremely frustrated. Now, I had a little tiff. I had a tanty. Did my thing. Very quickly got over it and said, nah, this ain't it. I just didn't want to be in Melbourne anymore. I knew my heart just didn't want to be in Melbourne anymore. I wanted to be in Queensland. So I then started recreating that vision to move to Queensland. And I'm telling you, I had a lot of doubts along the way because obviously the evidence was very clearly that I tried the first time and I failed. It didn't work. So what's to say it's not going to happen again? That's how we think. That's how our mind works. Often what happens is when we go to do something, our mind will always find a reason for why it can't work out based on, something or a feeling that's happened before. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you remember it, but everything like memories and everything that we remember, our body remembers because of the way it made us feel. I always say that. Our body's controlling like our mind and everything, our decision making, because of the way it makes us feel. When you can honestly get down to when you can nail the energy work and how it all works, and energy is just emotions is energy emotions, then you're set for life. I think it's starting to rain. If you can hear rain in the background, apologies. But anyway, so yeah, I was working really hard at picturing that vision in my head, and I remember going to bed, picturing in my head, going to bed and waking up in Queensland, nice warm weather, by the beach, in my caravan, working on my laptop. I'm literally doing that now. But it felt so distant back then because Melbourne was cold, it was shitty, and I was working a 9-to-5 job. Nothing at all what I'd visioned. It was the opposite. But what I did was I kept going against the odds of what happened before and what my mind wanted to keep reminding me of what happened before, and I kept sticking to that vision. I kept feeling into the warm weather. I just imagined waking up and it'd be so warm and the sun hitting my skin, it'd be just really fucking hot, and I could walk to the beach. Seriously, this was so I moved back to Melbourne February, and mind you, I didn't have a place to stay, so I had to live at a family friend's house. So that was what the hell am I doing? I'm 28 and I don't have a place to live. I was technically homeless. All my stuff was in my car. I had nowhere to live. And then I moved back in with my brother and his family for a little bit. And then again, I started creating the dream, or the vision, I should say, at my brother's house. So that was going on. So I moved back in February, and then I had this vision by 2022 I wanted to move. I was I don't care, this year is the year, so last year. And this is the thing. So everything was starting to line up, and I actually had a date of when I could move here because this is my mum's caravan. She was going to move into a house, so that's how I was able to create this dream. I mean, I didn't create this dream. It actually fell into alignment the more that I visioned it. But so as I was visioning and I was planning on moving to Queensland and all that stuff, that's when Mum said, oh, I'm actually going to move into a house. And I was like, wow, this is in alignment. She's like, you can live in the caravan. I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is what I've been manifesting. And so it was all coming together really nicely. Came July. The house situation that my mum was trying to get a house and all that stuff, it didn't happen. And then came August. It didn't happen again. And mind you, in that peak, this is where it's really important for you to listen. It was still at that peak, that time, I felt like all odds were against me, and I did feel I remember thinking in that moment, Queensland's just not meant to be. I remember having those tiny bits of doubt, like it wasn't tiny, but I mean, I wouldn't entertain it for long, and I would think in my head, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I just shouldn't be moving to Queensland. And then I just kept going, no, this is actually what I want. It's what my heart wants. It's what I desire. So I'm just going to keep persisting, even though there's all odds. Like the date got pushed back from July, and I think I moved end of September. Was it end of September or August? October? One of them. And I'm telling you, the date got changed probably about 10 times. So 10 times over, I kept getting told, like virtually, it felt like I was getting told you can't move to Queensland. That's how my mind internalized it. And that's how many times, more than that, I kept having to reaffirm to myself, this is happening because I want it to happen. And so even though life was presenting with all these problems and, all these outcomes, I should say, of me not being able to move, it's not possible because my mum wanted a house, then it was like, yep, done deal, and then something happened and it fell through, and then she got another house, and then with this house there was more delays of it being renovated or this happening or and it just kept, there was always something, and I just kept feeling like, is it just not meant to be? And I really just did not accept that for myself. And I mean, the same thing as my business. I've had so many fails, so many setbacks, so many decisions that have really impacted my life that I could have just given up. But that's literally the shit that I had faced to get here. It wasn't as simple as, oh, I'm going to Queensland, it's just going to happen, and it happened. I literally tried for the whole year of 2022, and every setback was just a reminder that I needed to do a little bit more of that mindset work, and to remind myself not to rely on the outside circumstances, not to accept what I am physically experiencing. Like for someone to tell me no, and this is where famous people, I guess, they I'm sure they would have had a lot of no's. If they accept no, then they wouldn't be famous. You know what I mean? So I guess in this situation, it's quite similar. It's like if I would have accepted the no, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Because I would have given up, and I would have given into my current circumstance at the time and gone, well, all right, well, then that is my reality. Now, here's the thing. We do this every single day of our lives. When something happens to us that we don't like, we accept it. But we don't have to. We're choosing to accept it. Every single thing that happens in our life, we choose. We have a choice on whether we are reacting or responding. So is that the same? Reacting or responding? Reflecting, sorry. Reacting or reflecting. So in terms of this situation, all these little setbacks, they were just, I'm taking them as a challenge, as the universe just testing me to know that I'm really doing the work to know that what I want to desire is for me. And in those little moments, I faced challenges. I chose to face a challenge of just doing more of the inner work rather than accepting it. So whenever you feel like all odds are against you, that is just like the universe just telling you that you just need to do more of the inner work. That's all it is. So if you look at it that way, I promise you your circumstance will change. It doesn't matter what life is presenting to you. You will, as long as you stay firm in what it is you want. And the feeling is probably the most important part, because we attract that of which we are, and what we are is what we feel is true for ourselves, or who we feel we are. It's all based on feeling. Like I said, emotions, just energy and motions. You can have thoughts. You can affirm that I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire. But it doesn't feel like you're going to be a millionaire. If you actually put that component in and actually feel like a millionaire, how would you feel? It would be a completely different experience. And when you also look at life as just like old manifestations, it's just a delayed reaction of your external well-being, your external state of being. So the more you clean up, the more you get clear on what it is you want, and the more you change, I always like to say, change your state of being so that you feel that that is who you are. The universe has to present it to you. So honestly, I know how you feel when life feels like it's giving you fucking snowballs one after the other, and you're just like, I can't catch a break. But this is just the universe testing you, the universe showing that you just have to do more of that inner work. More of that inner work is definitely needed to be done so that you can be so concrete in what it is that you want. And like when someone tells you no, you don't give a fuck. You don't even react, because you know you've done the work. You know wholeheartedly that you are worthy of that and that it's already done. So don't stop relying on your outside circumstances. I cannot stress that enough. It's just practicing, working on what you want, and because what happens is our mind is only trained to react to analyze and to react what's going on around us through our five senses. It doesn't have the capacity to look beyond that. So when we can close our eyes and actually imagine it, I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million times more. If you close your eyes and you imagine something, your body doesn't know the difference between it actually happening or imagining it. And our body is the one our body is, our emotional state. That's what attracts what we want in our life. So the more that you can take time out of your day and just practice that imaginal state, the life that you desire, the life that you want, and practice feeling into that and rehearse it as many fucking times as you can, the less you're actually looking externally and accepting what's going on around in your life. Because again, that's just an old manifestation of what you used to believe. Okay, so I hope this has really helped you guys. And stop reacting. It's all just a lesson. Everything is a learning journey. Everything is a game. Don't take it so seriously. And if you are really fucking unhappy with your life right now, everything in your life, then now is so fundamental. Now is such a crucial time to do that inner work. It's like we wait until we just are at that bottom. I don't know if you've ever felt like you've just hit rock bottom, and you're like, I can't go lower than this. I can't get any worse than this. Well, that's when people are usually open to starting to do the work. Well, don't wait for that moment. Start right now. Start taking time out of your day and go within and ask yourself what you really want, and start to change who you are, your DNA. It is literally scientifically proven you're changing your DNA. And stop reacting to outside circumstances. If something is presented to you and you just are so used to fucking reacting and tripping up, just take a step back and be like, okay, I see what you're doing, life. I see what you're doing, motherfucker. Okay, we'll see. And go, okay, well, the old me would have reacted. But this time, I'm going to see what the fuck the universe is teaching me. Why is it presenting this situation? And what do I need to learn from it? How cool is that? And then already you're just like, okay. And the more you look at life that way, the less you're reactive, and the less life is against you and more for you, because life is for us. Everything that is a tough situation, quote unquote, remember, everything's neutral. We give meaning to it. So everything that we take as negative, it is just a challenge for us. It is just a lesson for us to learn. There is something in there for us to learn so that we can grow as spiritual beings.